The mistake was on our part that at independence, we did not cut that umbilical cord between us and the former colonial past.
The Adebayo Adedeji lecture was instituted by the ECA in recognition of the contributions and legacy of Professor Adebayo Adedeji to the socio-economic development of the African continent.
He truly represented one of the best in the class of great economists across the globe.
Men who are thinking ahead of all of us. It's just to go and look at Lagos Plan of Action, Abuja Treaty. It's Adedeji.
The intellectual with clear analytic capacity.
Professor Adedeji served as the Executive Secretary of ECA from 1975 to 1991. He remains the longest serving Executive Secretary of ECA. Professor Adebayo Adedeji made tremendous contributions to the socio-economic development of the African continent. Most of the development blueprints that the African continent had Adebayo Adedeji's footprints. For example, the Lagos Plan of Action and the Final Act of Lagos of 1980 and 1981, which remains a very remarkable blueprint for the continent. The Abuja Treaty of 1991 establishing the African Economic Community, in developing also alternative development paradigms for the continent, especially in period of economic crisis. You will recall that in the late 1980s and early 1990s, Africa was confronted with deep economic crisis. The path to recovery and development for the continent was a very contested issue. And Adebayo Adedeji, on the platform of the ECA, provided alternative paradigm to the development of the African continent in the African alternative to the Structural Adjustment Program. Professor Adebayo Adedeji also contributed to the revival of democracy on the African continent. The Arusha Declaration of 1990 of popular participation in development was to advocate for the return of democracy and governance building on the African continent. Professor Adedeji played a major role in that process. The African Continental Free Trade Area, which we're celebrating today, had its pedigree in the efforts made by people like Professor Adedeji in laying the foundation for regional economic integration on the African continent. Professor Adedeji also had its footprints in the establishment of regional economic communities on the African continent. Quite a number of the regional economic communities had their background work done at ECA under the leadership of Professor Adebayo Adedeji. In recognition of his contributions to the development of the continent, the lecture was instituted by ECA. Distinguished personalities are invited to deliver the lecture who have also made significant contributions to the socio-economic development of the continent. Last year, the guest lecturer was Professor Paul Tiyambe Zaleza, who delivered a lecture on the theme of the role of higher education and human capital development in Africa's transformation. This year, the guest lecturer is a distinguished African personality and a Pan-Africanist by excellence, Dr. Mohammed Ibn Chambers. Like Adebayo Adedeji, Dr. Ibn Chambers has made tremendous contributions to the socio-economic development of the continent. He has served in different capacities from the national, sub-regional, regional, continental, and the global levels. He served as Deputy Minister of Foreign Affairs and also Deputy Minister of Tertiary Education in Ghana. He also served as Executive Secretary and President of the ECOWAS Commission in Abuja, Nigeria. He served as the Special Representative of the Secretary General and also head of the United Nations Office for West Africa and the Sahel. Furthermore, he served as the Secretary General of the Africa, Caribbean, and Pacific group of countries. Is currently serving as the High Representative of the African Union on silencing the guns. He's a very distinguished personality who has been involved in the project of democracy building, ensuring the promotion of good governance on the African continent, promotion of peace, security, and development. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, I would like you to join me in welcoming our guest speaker for the 2023 Adebayo Adedeji lecture, Dr. Mohammed Ibn Chambers. My name is Adedeji. I'm the Director of Strategic Planning, Oversight, and Results at ECA. Thank you.